Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and today we will be discussing a very important update in the topic of gestational trophoblastic neoplasia that has been given by FIGO 2026. As we all know, gestational trophoblastic disease is divided into two types, benign and malignant. Benign includes complete mole, partial mole, and malignant includes choriocarcinoma, PSTT and ETT. Now the updates which have come are as follows. Update 1 is the criteria for diagnosis of GTN 2026. Earlier we used to have only the histopathological examination as a diagnostic criteria for GTN, but now we have got two more criteria to diagnose something as GTN, which include that if the HCG levels plateau and the decrease or the rise is less than 10% and they are plateauing for more than 4 different findings which are spread over a time span of 3 weeks, then also we can call it as GTN. The second criteria is that there is rise of HCG more than 10% on 3 different measurements which are spread over a time span of 2 weeks, and these measurements are consecutive. This is the second criteria, and the third criteria is the old one, which is the histopathological examination and diagnosis of GTN. So this was the first update, that the diagnostic criteria has changed. It has included 2 more things. The second update is about the imaging investigations. So the disease can either be low risk or high risk. In a low risk disease, we usually do pelvis ultrasound, Doppler and MRI along with chest X-ray. And if at all there is some suspicion of lung metastasis, then we go for a chest CT scan. Now if we find any lesion that is more than 1 centimeter in any of the CT or chest X-ray, we have to go for a brain MRI as well as abdominal CT and MRI. This is for low risk disease, and for a high risk disease, we do contrast enhanced MRI of brain and pelvis along with CT of abdomen and chest. CCT reserved for detecting liver metastasis. MRI is reserved for cases where CT is contraindicated. And for brain, preferred modality is always an MRI, and CT brain is always reserved for any acute conditions. In case of PSTT or ETT, we can go for contrast enhanced MRI. The important thing here to note is that the timing of the investigation should be as close as possible to the start of chemotherapy or surgical intervention. The third update is in the anatomical staging. So earlier in stage 1 only uterus was included, but now cervix has been added in that. In stage 2 any extra uterine pelvic organ was included, but now we have included the broad ligament also. So stage 1 is cervix and uterus, stage 2 is broad ligament, adnexa, vagina. Stage 3 earlier was only lungs, but now it has included lymph nodes below the diaphragm. What happened was that pulmonary metastasis did not affect the treatment outcome, so it has been avoided in the staging. And stage 4 includes all the lymph nodes which are present above the diaphragm and have metastatic foci and all the other metastatic sites. So this is the change in the anatomical staging which has come. This is the third update. Another thing to note here is that the lymph node more than 1 centimeter and their shortest actin diameter has to be used for staging. And if at all the lymph node is less than 1 centimeter, then it can be taken as a threshold that there might be involvement of the lymph node. It is likely that it will be involved, but we have to take more than 1 centimeter only. A third thing to note in staging is that we always have to mention that this lymph node which we have detected as metastatic foci, there should be a mention of R or P in that whether we have detected this lymph node on radiological investigation or by pathology. If it has been detected by some radiological investigation, we have to write lymph node R, and if by histopathological examination, then we have to write P. So we have to mention it. For example, here I have shown stage 3 LNR. That means stage 3 as per the anatomical staging, that lymph nodes below the diaphragm have been included, and R means that they have been diagnosed radiologically. So this is the third update. A fourth update is in the modified WHO risk score. So earlier this score used to have ABO blood grouping also. Later it was removed. Then it included previous cycles of chemotherapy. But now it has also been discarded from the risk scoring system. And now we have only 7 factors which we have to include in this risk scoring system. They include age, antecedent pregnancy, interval months from the index pregnancy, pre-treatment HCG, largest size of tumor in centimeters, site of metastasis, and number of metastasis identified. And the scoring is given like 0, 1, 2 and 4. So we have to count this entire score on the basis of these 7 prognostic factors. As you can see, age is less than 40, more than 40. Antecedent pregnancy, whether it is molar pregnancy, abortion or a term pregnancy. Then interval months, less than 4 months, 4 to 7 months, 7 to 12 or more than 12 months. And then pre-treatment HCG, less than 10 ki power 3, 10 ki power 3 to 10 ki power 4, 10 ki power 4 to 5 and then more than 10 ki power 5. So this way we have to see and give the risk scoring to the particular patient. On the basis of that, we have to prognosticate. The fifth update is risk classification. So earlier there were only 2 groups, low group low risk group and high risk group. But now there is another group that has been added, which is called as the ultra high risk group. So earlier this low risk and high risk group included 0 to 7 and more than 7 on the risk scoring system. But now this marking system has become, if it is 0 to 6, it is low risk, 7 to 12, it is high risk, and if it is more than 13 or equal to 13, it is ultra high risk. How does it matter? Because on the basis of this, we change the chemotherapeutic regimens. So if it is in low risk, we can give single agent chemotherapy that will include methotrexate. But usually the people who are having 5 or 6 in the risk scoring system, they sometimes need multi-agent chemotherapy. If it is a high risk, we need multi-agent chemotherapy. And if it is ultra high risk, the prognosis is very poor and we need induction chemotherapy in that. The sixth update is in the staging of PSTT and ETT, that there is something different and it is not similar as choriocarcinoma or invasive mole. So what has been included in this is that if the anatomical staging 1, 2, 3 is there in PSTT or ETT, we have to divide whether it is poor prognosis or good prognosis on the basis of interval from the last pregnancy. If it is less than 48 months past the previous pregnancy, good prognosis, and if more than 48 months have passed from the index pregnancy and now the patient has been diagnosed as GTN, then it is bad prognosis. So we have to mention in the staging 1, 2, 3 that whether it is a good prognosis patient or a bad prognosis patient. And all the stage 4 patients of PSTT and ETT have bad prognosis. So these were the 6 updates about gestational trophoblastic neoplasia, and this is a very important topic because it has recently come, so it is a very important recent update. Also, I'll be just showing you all these updates in the document of FIGO. So if you have time, you can go through that document also. Otherwise, I have compiled all the changes together in this video itself. So if your exam is very near, you can just see this video and it will work. So this is the criteria for GTN where the updated criteria has been given and it has been expanded to 2 more criterias. Then here is the imaging investigations which you can see. Then comes the anatomical staging, in which the new things I have highlighted, that stage 1 has included both uterus and cervix, stage 2 has included the broad ligaments, stage 3 has included lymph nodes below the diaphragm, and stage 4 lymph nodes above the diaphragm, as well as any other metastatic site. And this R, that is imaging, or P, that is pathology, also has to be marked in the staging whenever you are doing it for the lymph nodes. Then comes the modified WHO risk scoring system, which you can see there are 7 points which I've already elaborated previously. Then the groups, these are the risk groups: low risk, high risk, and ultra high risk. So basically all these tables are very important in this document. This is the last update, which is in the PSTT and ETT, where they're saying that if it is less than 48 months, it is good prognosis, and more than 48 months from the previous pregnancy, then it is bad prognosis. So this is the last update which you have to see and memorize very carefully. So this was FIGO 2026 GTN update. I hope I was able to elaborate this in a good manner. Do let me know what other topics you want from me in the comment section below, or you can just DM me. Like and share my video with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. And if you want the notes are there on my subscription channel on Instagram.